There's so much that goes on when it comes to drawing a piece of art, with some parts being much more enjoyable than others. So I felt like shoving all of these parts into a tier list. The tier list will be ranked based on how I personally enjoy doing them, so yeah. Pretty opinionated, not really facts. Got it? Cool. This is Reap Sykes, RS VTuber here, to give you my parts of a drawing tier list. Ah yes, the first part of drawing that everyone does most of the time. I have a love-hate relationship when it comes to sketching. It really depends on what I'm drawing in particular, but usually this involves a ton of trying to determine what goes where and how certain stuff works. Oh god, how do these hands work? Does the pose even make any sense? Is the anatomy or the composition even decent? Because of this, sketching takes the longest out of all the parts, but hey, the time is used for determining the most important stuff like composition and what details you want to have. This part of the drawing process is pretty much the core of most artworks almost all the time. Plus, the fact that sketching is the first part of the drawing process means you can afford to screw up instead of making yourself want to bang your head into the wall should you realize a fundamental flaw with your artwork, let's say, for example, while you're already rendering. But sometimes, sketching is all you need to do. You just sketch for fun and that's about it. No line art, no colors or rendering, no nothing. Just sketching on its own for the love of the game. So all in all, sketching is a pretty versatile and important part of making art, but most of the time, it can be tiring with how much time it takes on my end, so I'll give it a B tier. I actually like this one. Most of the time, line art is much more chill compared to sketching, since you just draw over your sketches without having to fuss about new details most of the time. But, if you know what you're doing, you can actually just draw all of the details straight to ink without having to sketch them first. It's a huge time saver and a really good technique for when you need to make as many webcomic pages as you can against a schedule. Now I know it's a massive complaint that line art magically makes your drawing look worse, and personally, screw that. Okay, maybe I can't be too rude since I used to always feel that way for years. For me though, I alleviated those thoughts by adding these connectors towards the corners, with some of them being pseudo shadows. Look at this! Night and day! Am I right? Awesome! I'll give it an A tier. Time to rank adding the flat colors. Okay, admittedly, I wouldn't say my palette picking skills are perfect, so usually I'd end up having to experiment with multiple color palettes to see what sticks when it comes to drawing characters. Which, yeah, that's completely normal. Industry standard type stuff for conceptualizing not only your characters, but I'm pretty sure for art in general. So yeah, thinking of colors can sort of be a puzzle, but how does it feel to color your artwork? I mean, on my end, I just use a fill bucket tool and call it a day. If you're just working for one artwork, then it's pretty quick, nothing much to think about. But if you're a webcomic creator, having to switch between a bunch of colors to color numerous panels and pages makes me feel like Mr. Incredible in The Office. Seriously, pick two colors, color the spot, switch to the next panel, color the spot, switch to the next panel, color the spot, then repeat for who knows how many pages. It's so tedious. So when it comes to considering having to think of color palettes and the act of coloring for either a single piece or comic pages, I've come to a conclusion that coloring deserves a C tier. Now, flat colors are exactly that, flat. So in order to give your artwork the hype moment and aura, we gotta render, and hell yeah! Rendering not only gives my art a bit of pizzazz, but it's also really fun to do. Instead of just doing lame fill bucket clicking, I add strokes of shadow and light. See, that's much more interesting. Now personally, I've dealt with two ways of rendering, cel shaded and full rendering. With cel shaded, I just size up my brush and add strokes of shadows depending on where the light source is supposed to be. And recently, I've been adding these hatching lines as well. I was gonna include them for line art, but apparently hatching is considered a part of rendering, so yeah, it's here. For full rendering, I switch to softer brushes and brute force my way into making my art look like it has depth. To me, cel shading is much more fun to do, plus it looks cooler, but either way, rendering is the ultimate bringer of aura to my art, so that's why I'll give this an S tier. Alright, those are my personal tier placements for each part of drawing. Do you agree with me or not? Comment down below. Oh, and before I forget, most of the artwork you saw in this video actually ties to my webcomic, Life in Twisted Dreams. Go check it out if you haven't. This artwork on the other hand is an OC named Newlong, made by an artist named Dopienjo. You can find links to everything I just talked about in the description below. And like and subscribe if you like these videos. This is actually kind of my first actual long-form video, so I'm still learning the ropes of this kind of thing. So yeah, that's about it. See ya!